Hi and welcome to Easy Fishing. Well, it's another very rushed session. I'm down on the local canal. I'm going to be fishing worms for perch. So, very similar setup to what I used on the river, slightly different float. Lob worms for bait. I'm going to feed some of them chopped up with casters, and I've fitted a pole pot to the end of my pole to enable accurate feeding. I have a few dendrobinas and they'll go in there as well, and they make a change bait, and I have some casters, about a pint. So, because we're short on time, let's get on with it. Right, with Edward scissor hands, my triple bladed scissors, and in here I have some 3 lob worms and some dendrobinas, and to chop them up into fairly small pieces because it's quite cold, and mix them with just a handful of casters, and mix up. And today I fitted a Preston large cup on my pole because this one doesn't have a dedicated cupping kit. Now I realise for viewers in the US, this is totally alien to the way you fish, but putting this pole cup on the pole enables me to feed exactly over where I'm fishing. I line it up with a far bank marker and just tip the mess in the water, and what I shall do, I shall take this pot off and put a much smaller one on, this sort of size, and this I will just drip feed worms and casters as I go. Bait on the hook, I'm going to start off with a whole lob worm chopped in half, and the 2 halves hooked on the hook. Got 2 nice dangly ends of the worm. The hook, incidentally, is a Canal B983, my favourite perch and worm hook. I'll just, there we go, 2 big sections of lob worm. Get that out over where I fed my bait. Rest my pole on the bump bar, and away we go. Now, I don't know if we'll catch, I hope so. It's a good time of the day to be catching big perch, and all you do is just lift the worm up, drop it down. You can lift it to the top so it's clear of the water and just lay it out, because what the perch tend to do is they tend to watch the worm fall through the water. Now people would think in this murky water they can't see, but believe you me, fish's eyes are adapted to seeing this, so I don't have any problem with them finding it. And that's all I'll do, and every few minutes I'll just either throw out some casters by hand, because I'm only fishing 6 metres, 18 feet out from the bank thereabouts, and I'm right in the middle of the deepest part of the canal where the perch do tend to hang about in the winter. Not always, sometimes you can catch them in the shallower water, but generally speaking at this time of year they like to be in that deep boat channel. And when I say deep, about 5 feet I suppose in the middle of this canal. They're pretty shallow, these narrow canals. Some of them, the big ship going ones, obviously are a lot deeper and wider, but this is a traditional narrow canal. Like I say, all I just do, just lift that worm up, drop it back in, and just wait for a perch to spy it. Now, one of the things you have to do when you're doing this kind of fishing is when you get a bite, don't strike straight away. I had a young lad with me on my last trip on New Year's Eve, and I had to teach him how to count to 3 before you strike when you're using a big bait like I am. Otherwise you will just miss them. And this bait can pick up anything. I wouldn't be at all surprised to pick up roach, bream, all sorts of fish will take a worm. In fact, I don't think there's many fish in the UK that I haven't caught on a worm. I've had quite a lot of pike on them. Like I say, all I just do is just lift the pole up, drop it down again. Flick a few casters over the top. And just wait for that float to bury. Now, for anglers in the UK, I'm using a Drennan inline crystal dibber with a thick dome top, because this, and I've got a bite straight away, and he's let it go. No, maybe he's still got it. He did, but it was only a small one, and he's taken half the worm off the hook. So that's obviously a sign that there's skimmers and small fish out there, which I'm trying to avoid. My target this year, I set myself as a New Year's resolution, was to try and catch a 3 pound plus perch on camera. And I have 2 venues that really produce them. This Canal, which has produced them to over 4 pounds, and the River Great Ouse, which has produced them well in excess of 5 pounds. So I am hopeful. I've had 2 3 pounders out of here when I didn't have the camera with me. So the ambition is just to get one on the camera. Now, a lot of viewers will be wondering why I don't fish longer sessions. Well, the honest answer is my lifestyle just doesn't permit it. I'm ill, my wife's ill, and I help look after her. I have a teenage daughter, a dog and 2 cats. And, fishing time is grabbed as and where I can. And today it's not ideal, bright blue sky, the sun is nearly set, so I don't have a lot of time. So it's just a case of making the most of what I've got. And if making the most of what I've got means that I only get fishing for an hour or 2, then that is what I have to do. Well, after a couple of tentative little dips, I'm actually hooked into the first fish, and oh yes, it's a fairly decent perch. On this gear, to be honest, I don't need a landing net. I can lift these fish out. There we go. Lovely plump fish. 6 to 8 ounces, I guess. I'm not really worried about the size. If I get a real big one, then I'll weigh it. So there we go. No blanks. Worm is still good. And this time I'm going to feed just a pinch of chopped worm and caster in that little pot on the tip of my pole. That was a very, very tentative bite. It actually just sucked the float under and didn't move off, which is unusual. But I'm not complaining. There we are, just a pinch of chopped worm. And see if I can get some more. People will wonder why I swing these fish out. Well, I'm fishing a 6 pound main line and a 5 pound hook length and a size 6 hook, and up to about that sort of size I'll swing them. If they're any bigger than that, obviously I will use the net, because I don't want to be losing pound plus fish. Now, for the explanation of those who don't understand this fishing, it's very much like vertical jigging a lure, except with a great advantage. I'm right over the top of it, so I can keep it in the same place where I feed and just jig it up and down by lifting the pole a few inches, a foot maybe, dropping it back in. And it is incredibly effective. And unlike a lure, when a fish grabs it, they won't normally let go. So I find this probably one of the most effective methods for catching perch and a lot of other big fish as well that I've ever come across, and I would recommend everyone to give it a go. If you haven't got a short pole, and you do only need a short pole, you can get by at close range with a rod and reel. Well, I'm getting a couple of very tentative bites, and I'm not quite sure what to do about this, because there's obviously fish in the swim, but they're being very, very tentative about biting. So, yeah, don't know if they're small fish or just being very shy. Just drag the worm a few inches, see if that will induce a solid take. Quite often it does. Often they'll just sit there and watch it and won't grab it until it moves. Well, I've got another solid take, and I'm not sure what I've got. It could be a nice roach or a skimmer. We'll have a look. It's not going to beat this gear though, because I am geared up for big fish. Provided you don't rush it, they're not going to come off a size 6. Let's have a look. Oh, I will use the net for this. Not because it's big, but because skimmers have a bad habit of coming off. Yes, I've got a skimmer of about, I don't know, 8 ounces I suppose. Not enormous, but believe you me, I am happy to catch it. Now there we go. Not big, but extremely welcome. Right, here we go again. We got another fish on. You have to excuse people talking in the background. I don't know what I've got.
That's a perch, that one. No, it's not, it's a skimmer.
Yeah. And I have the bailiff from the local angling club behind me, who I've bumped into, and he's actually filmed and netted fish for me on previous videos. So, it's as I thought. Oh, it's a nice skimmer. It's not a monster, but here we go. Nice skimmer, I don't know, £1.25, £1.50, something like that.
Yeah, to be honest. That's got to be a lot.
Hello. Second one, I'll just zoom the camera in. Oh, come on, camera work. Well, there we have a very nice winter skimmer. Pop him gently back. I wish it had been a perch, but well, right on the last knockings, I've hooked into another fish. I don't quite know what I've got yet. Looks like it could be a bream. Yes. But even though it's a fair sized fish, it's not going to beat this gear. Ooh, there's a nice slab. It's a proper slab, this one. Let's get him in the net before I celebrate. Yes, proper canal slab. Giving quite a spirited account of himself.
Well done.
You on camera?
Oh, that's a big fish.
There we have it. A proper canal bream. It's not the target fish, but I'm very, very pleased we've caught it. A very solid fish, about 3 pounds. So we'll just pop him back. And I guess that's it for the day. The light's just about gone, it'll be dark in about 5 minutes. So again, this video is about making the most of your fishing time. People moan that they don't have time to go fishing. Well, most people have more time than me, so I'm just trying to show people how to get the most out of your time, even if you're like me and with very limited opportunities to go fishing. So I hope you'll all enjoy this video, and until next time, tight lines.